Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. And I was trying to make up my mind which key points that I wanted to start out this video with. But first of all, um, it's going to be a little bit of gun control, talking about gun control bullshit. And I will start this out while it's on my mind too. That this always plays in my head too. One of the one of the many black YouTubers that I subscribe to and spread those videos around. What I should say, he talks about gun control, and I absolutely agree with him. Oh, let's say that sentence once again. One of the black YouTubers whom I like to spread their videos around just to spite the woke crowd instead of going with the woke crowd. Um, Young Ripa, he did a quote and said, which I absolutely agree with. He couldn't have said it any better. Uh, he said, all gun control is bullshit, and I'm not obligated to pander or coddle your bitch ass or worry about your bitch ass feelings, just so you can feel like you're doing something. Which, by the way, yeah, we're seeing that on the news. Oh, Pittsburgh, the new mayor of Pittsburgh, different people. Oh, they want to fight for their own city to ban assault-style weapons in their city, which is unconstitutional, by the way. And that is not going to do a damn thing. I mean, for one thing, we all know. Let's list the shootings that happened, which will not be stopped by gun control. Okay, it's just gonna make it worse, and because banning guns that law-abiding citizens are allowed to have, just banning it, and which means they'd be killing a pretty good business, which a lot of people like to do those shooting competitions, whether it's AR-15 or shotguns, where you run these courses, not just target practice. You ever see some of these? In my opinion, I'm also talking in parentheses too, that how too much gun control would mess up. You're better off letting anybody who doesn't have a mental problem have a gun or whatever, because say if we have to be in a military right now, if we had to do anything militarily to protect ourselves, there's not enough of people to train soldiers from scratch, and at the same time, half of the world is being pussified or feminized or totally emasculated to a point where, with guns put aside, that there's people out there that they want to emasculate people to a point where if you can be proud, if you walk around proud of yourself for picking up 5 pounds and doing it too confidently, they might regard you as psycho even without guns. There's people that are like that too. Anything that looks threatening, they want to totally make everybody the same. But as it is, like we don't got enough of people to really do anything militarily if we wanted to in other places like we used to now. You're better off, which I think some pro-gun people would like this, but I have an argument where a smart government, you look at certain places all over the world, some of them different types of ways that they raise an army. There's people in, I think as in Burma, that still actually take people's kids off of them and make them, they don't hardly pay them anything, they just take your kids, and they can't hardly afford an army. But anyway, there's countries out there that see right away, there are ones out there that run countries that are not good people either, that um, some of them are very totalitarian, don't like any armed citizens, and there are ones out there that are pretty bad groups that, some things work and some people's don't. I know I'm going to pause right there because I don't want to detract the subject. There's different attitudes that you can make entire videos about separately, but anyway, back one subject that I wanted to say, a smarter government like this one, say if you needed to raise people in army, Even I'm saying that some pro-gun people wouldn't want that, because it talking in parentheses there would also be attached to this subject a right that if they want to send you, the government wants to send you out in a war for a certain thing, and say, oh, wait a minute, I don't believe in getting involved in this way. Well, this country did have a track record of sending people out to die. No offense to the vets, but sending people out to die and not even getting the fucking job done. And then ever since the Reagan era, we helped, I was hearing it when I was a teenager, aiding people that turn out to be terrorists that turned out to bite us later. Overthrow, I think Jim Quinn was talking about Iran, for example. You got rid of the Shah in Iran, and then the people that you topple one thing, and those are no better, and they turn around and come out and bite you. You know what I mean? But so we have a track record of that as it is. But anyway, some smarter governments, you got totalitarian governments that. You're not allowed to speak your mind, not allowed to say anything to anybody, and don't want anybody armed. And then some countries where it would be smarter to, I don't want no red flag laws either. Well, there's some things that if you know somebody that's had a bad history somewhere, there's a no-brainer not letting them have a gun. But my thing about red flag laws, the minute you get there's some people that are engaged in a certain behavior that shouldn't have a gun. I absolutely agree. But yet, we don't want no so-called red flag laws that pave the way for... all of a sudden, a little bit of time, you get these far leftists that every little thing, if you don't agree with their shit, or say you walk around too proudly, and you're able to lift 5 or 10 pounds with a cocky look on your face, and you don't associate, kiss the ass to the left, and all this, you can get red flagged for maybe having your hair a little too long, or not dressed a particular way with guns put aside. Oh yeah, red flag you, or try to you got people that want to deny you the right to be armed. Red flag you, 302 you. Say even if you don't own a gun. A little too much muscle development, walk around with a cocky look on your face, take you off the street and get 302'd, walk around with too much of a cocky smirk in your face, and you're not kissing the ass of their people, throw you straight in the place for the criminally insane, because the far left are very paranoid people and very controlling people. But anyway, not to spend too much time on this subject, make this too much a long video, but certain people, we got very elaborate shooting competitions. People with the AR-15s with the scopes. You ever see videos of that? Competitions for that, and everything else. A little tripod, and they got scope, boom, boom. You need that. I say, if you need we ever have a war, God forbid, we have a necessary war or whatever things that we need to defend. Instead of training all these soldiers from scratch, and now everybody wants to pussify and emasculate everybody, how are you going to train people? You got somebody that already got the talents, champion target shooters. But like I said, the downside to that, pro-gun owner, or if anybody that's pro-gun, like I said, watching this, there's also a right to say, that has its pros and cons, you know what I mean? If I say, it's smarter to have a... because you can train an army quicker. And I'm implying that the government doesn't have all these supposed red flag laws. And say the government says, okay, all you guys that are champion target shooters for your right to bear arms, we want to draft you in the army. And then we might say, well, okay, we need to fight against this, but then there's also a right to say, oh, you know what, we're not getting involved in this shit, it can be bad, because we've, not to overtalk it. And I'm trying not to talk just because I got some long hair, like some 60s hippie era conscientious objector. That's not about no hippie conscientious objector bullshit. I'm saying that you can say everybody with the right to bear arms, say the government changes its tune and say, okay, give you all your rights and don't have any kind of laws about it, but say, what if they say, just a hypothetical thing, what if they say, okay, but we can also draft you, say we want to fight, want you to fight some war, turn some of you and train you in the military, well, train a lot of you in the mercenaries or whatever, or the big Armageddon or what. I'm just putting aside a couple of different things. What I was going to say in this video is I'm going to leave for a whole other video, but if you got this far, there's people out there, well, I was originally going to say in this video, but I'm going to talk about that in another video. I was originally going to make my case about the people with the March for Our Lives and all that stuff, where and when I think they have the right to. I believe that they're trash, and they were throwing rocks at every single honest gun owner out there and everybody, just because. And I wanted to basically say, I'm going to say this in another video too, if you got this far. People that did bullshit in schools like Sandy Hook, or that supermarket where a guy targeted all black people. That guy was an asshole. Asshole woke up, hate the world. That guy, Mr. What's his name? The Tree of Life shooting. Idea of Mr. On a blog saying, oh, hell with your logistics, I'm going in. And he shoots up a synagogue, a bunch of unarmed, all these people. That guy, the guy that shot up a bunch of in a supermarket because they were black, the guy that did it because they were a Jew. Oh, the guy a bunch of years back that went into a theater during a Batman movie and started shooting him. These are assholes that woke up hating the world. And you're going to take guns away from law-abiding citizens, like even Jesse Ventura and a lot of other people said, quote, yeah, 911, and police come to bring the meat wagon, the coroner, and the police tape after the thing, and they investigate. Police are already, by the time police come, it becomes just an investigation and hope they catch the guy. But one armed citizen hopefully will take him out. That's what should happen. And you get rid of every single. Well, anyway, I felt a lot of people, not all of them, these people with March for Their Lives, I have clips of these kids saying these things. Next video, I'm going to make a case that some of it is cowardice and double standard. And I wanted to say to end this video too, I remember seeing in a newspaper column way before we had this internet blogging, right? I'm going to try to make this relevant. What are these dear so-and-so, Ann Landers, dear... you ever hear these things, dear Ann Landers, different kind of people? I remember seeing a newspaper article, and pay attention, this is relevant. This wasn't about guns, but this was about behaviors in people's house. Like, say you have a family member that their spouse died, son, daughter, mother died right now, and you're living with them, have a death in the family. Say you and your wife or whatever, and they're living in your house. One of them, the mother-in-law, they had a death in the family, you sympathize, right? And you put up with some things and behaviors. Oh, they had a death in the family. You don't want to look unsympathetic or callous to anybody. But say, even though you sympathize, there's always that person you've got to politely say they're being a jerk. That just because you had a death in a family, it doesn't give somebody a license to be a jerk. You know, people put up with things to even somebody in your church. And it's not funny than anything that happened, right? But yeah, I was going to start one of my other videos separately. But I figure I'll give you a little insight in it now. I believe anybody, definitely not trashing or being disrespectful to anybody that had a schoolmate that died. These people were freaking psychos and assholes and idiots that woke up hating the world, and it was wrong. But the only way you're going to totally stop it all, what are you going to have, a totalitarian government, cameras on every street corner? Have everybody checking every single house once every 2 days? That's the only way you might be close to stopping it. Theoretically, totally totalitarian. Everybody's house gets checked. They come right in your house, you know what I mean? Which I don't got no tinfoil hat. I'm not going to say that can happen. Anybody that did such a thing anyway, it's a very costly to do. I mean, North Korea has managed to have laws like that, and plus they're so paranoid that they got nuclear. the master of North Korea, as so paranoid he don't want anybody taking over his country, overthrowing it, and freeing his people. Well, no. But anyway, but that's the only way you're going to stop that. You're going to disarm every fucking person that wants to have be in a shooting competition or hunting or a basic right to protect his house from home invasion. You know what I mean? Shit like that. And if you got this far in this video too, and if you have a belief like that, some of these people, even though you feel sorry they had friends and family members that died, you sympathize. There's a part of double standard and cowardness when some of them, not all of them, grandstand, right? And they start attacking the NRA, honest gun owners, target shooting. And you can see right through it that they're attacking somebody's right to bear arms, but you don't see them attacking and getting that nasty on there with gang members that shoot each other, do home invasions. You noticed calling them on, like anything from Sandy Hook and March for Their Lives, these kids are talking. You noticed that, and these other kids that are getting caught bringing guns to school, you don't see them trashing the pseudo-gang members that are their age, which they shouldn't be bringing guns to school. Okay, maybe they're afraid the gang members on the street will get them. So they'll attack the NRA and grandstand attack and mouthing off against honest gun owners, and not a single word about gang members and people that do home invasions, that do drive-by shootings. Oh yeah. And there's that one other guy that Jim Quinn talked about when I used to listen to him on FM radio before. I'll have to get his name. Him too. I'll bring his name and talk about him. I think the camera quit working. I think it needs to be recharged. I got my other one, but anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna do this another video. If you guys got this far in this video, that one guy, I'm gonna look him up and do a video and show you the article. It just popped up in my head. But when Jim Quinn was on FM radio way back, he was talking about this guy, an article, very anti-NRA. He did a whole article literally threatening them, say what he would do, and everything else. All attacking and arrogantly attacking the NRA with his the narcissistic bullshit, you know what I mean, too. I'll get another video and bring him and Google him. I forgot the name. But anyway, when Jim Quinn was talking about him, what got me about that is, all that boldly trashing the NRA just to get attention, to appeal to certain people that would agree with his shit. But not a single word about, say, gang members that do drive-by shootings. Say you bring up names of certain gangs, and a guy like that trashes the NRA. You bring up these other people that have guns, the names of particular gangs or whatever. I guarantee he's too scared to do that, because if he writes that in the paper, somebody sees it on a thing, people will be coming after him. So, and again, they're exposed for the cowards that they are. And anybody who's, like these kids, I think some of them mean well, but when they get too snarky or whatever too, the rule is, like I brought that newspaper column I was back before there was bloggings. How to deal with the, say the kids, because you don't want to be callous, they lost family members or schoolmates because of some psycho did something. You don't want to look like you're trashing them, but you got to put it to some of them politely that throwing rocks at every single person because they have a license to carry, they're not to blame. And you look like a coward, a vengeful child and a coward, when, you're not talking about the gang members and the other people that if they hear that on TV, maybe you're a little scared of them, but it's easier to bash the NRA and bash legal gun owners and everything. Which I rest my case with, this is what I saw in that newspaper column. Just because you had a death in the family and everything else, people tolerate a certain kind of speech, but it does not, just because you had a death in the family, it does not give you any right to just throw rocks at people and treat people some kind of way. They'll put up with it for a while, but they're going to say, hey, look, and straighten you out. You know, not without looking unsympathetic. And you don't want anybody, let's say, they just want their way and they're all just over there grandstanding. And they only see what they want to see, hear what they want to hear, see what they want to see, hear what they want to hear, hear what they want to see what they want to hear. Who that? Kind of a little bit, but yeah, that's how you got to deal with these people. And just like the black gentleman, one of the black gentlemen that I subscribe to says, I agree with him. All gun control is bullshit, and nobody's uh, obligated to pander to somebody else's feelings just because they're afraid of being demonized. Pander to somebody's feelings just because they feel that they're doing something and or whatever. But anyway, if you got this far, a couple videos on this subject coming up. You know what I mean?